morning, everybody. Welcome back to the sales stream. Right. So let's quickly go through the agenda for the sales stream itself. So the first up will be the presentation by Lim Chin Keng, Director of Strategic Office ASEAN of F5. Product your web apps and APIs effortlessly in 5 minutes. Then we'll move on to Nicholas Tan, the Regional Alliances Manager, South Asia and Korea of Splunk. Enhance your business insights and security posture with Splunk Cloud on AWS. Then we'll move on to Securing Digital Transformation by Patrick Hall, Prisma Cloud Sales Specialist, ASEAN, Palo Alto Networks. Then we'll move on to Your Cloud Everywhere with Marinus Flow by Stefan Bilmore, EMEA and APAC Channel Sales Director from Marantis. And finally, to unlock the cloud operating model with HashiCorp by Yogesh Patel, Partner Sales Manager, ASEAN of HashiCorp. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Chin Keng on the stage to present to you Protect Your Web Apps and APIs Effortlessly in 5 minutes. Chin Keng, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Chin. Please proceed and please share your screen onto full mode so that we can bring up your presentation. Thank you.
All right, cool. I'm gonna just run a quick video, if it's okay. It's a YouTube video, just a short one. Are you able to see it? Can
Please proceed.
Are you seeing the YouTube video?
Please proceed. Please proceed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this WestCon security event. And F5 is very strategic partner with WestCon, and very happy to be participating in this event. And I want to just kick off this event with a quick video. Yeah. Hopefully you can see it, and let me just play it. Hopefully you can hear it as well.
Business security. And as application architecture is modernized, cloud adoption grows, and workloads expand to the edge, your application attack surface increases exponentially. Traditional WAF and DDoS solutions just don't secure.
Hi, Chin. The audio is not coming through on this. If you can maybe move on to your presentation, it would be better.
I'm sorry, Jackie, you were saying?
I'm saying there's no audio coming through on the video. If you could maybe move on to your presentation, please.
Oh, audio's not coming through? All right,
Yeah.
okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay. We go to view, reading view. Are you seeing now the full screen, Jackie?
Yes, we are. Please proceed.
Okay,
you just
right.
need to, yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. So, apologize that video couldn't run with the audio, but I just wanted to announce to everyone on the call that last week, F5 has officially announced a new product called F5 Distributed Cloud. This is a new platform that has been introduced as a result of an acquisition that F5 made about a year ago, a Volterra acquisition, if you could remember. And a year into the acquisition, F5 has quickly transformed that platform into what we call a distributed cloud platform. And the first set of services that we're introducing is the web application and API protection. So I'm going to walk through that with you today. So the whole idea of this distributed cloud web application and API protection platform is to allow you to, excuse me, please. To allow you to protect your web application APIs in less than 5 minutes. So that's how quickly you can roll out this particular WAP as a service. It's a SaaS service. So I'm going to quickly run through what that means and how that works. So there'll be 4 parts to this agenda today: a quick overview and the campaign that we're running together with our partners, and a quick demo if you have time, and then the SKUs, the product SKUs. So very quickly, what is the Distributed Cloud WAP platform? It is a SaaS-based application security offering. It's allowing you to protect any web-based application and API at any location, wherever it lives. Yeah, within the WAP platform, it has 4 key capabilities. The first one being the advanced WAF, the web application firewall. As you all know, F5 is known for its efficacy in its WAF, the big IPA WAF, and the same engine is not only ported to Nginx, it is also now ported onto the distributed cloud platform so that you can consume it as a SaaS. The second capability is the bot defense. And this is a result of an acquisition we made about 2 years ago on a company called Shape Security. And today, the Shape Security is protecting 2 billion API calls a day, 2 billion API and web calls a day. And this very sophisticated high-end bot defense, we brought the same engine, made it available on a distributed cloud platform, so you can consume it as a SaaS as well. The third thing that's available on the platform is DDoS, right? So layer 3, layer 4 volumetric, as well as layer 7 DDoS protection. Then finally, API security. This is where it was inherited from Volterra acquisition. It's capable of discovering all the API calls that are made through the platform. And with using AI machine learning, it's able to give you a view of all the north, south, and east, west API calls, giving you the ability to identify good API calls and even shadow API calls that you don't expect, for example. And it will highlight those anomalies of APIs that shouldn't be there, so that you can take actions on it. So collectively, the WAF platform consists of these 4 capabilities: the WAF, the bot defense, DDoS, and API security rolled into one. And you can consume them independently as well. Now, I was going to play this video. Unfortunately, the audio doesn't come through. But it's basically showing you that you can actually onboard your web app or your API into this F5 Distributed Cloud, so that it gets protected from the F5 Distributed Cloud WAP platform. It can be done in less than 5 minutes, literally. Yeah. So that's how easy and fast it is. I'll send out this YouTube video later on so you can watch it on your own. It literally is like, I think, 3.5 minutes to get through to show you how to onboard. And because it's that easy, we believe our partners should be able to help our customers to onboard them very, very quickly. And even customers themselves, if they're technical enough, they can do it on their own through self-servicing. So let's take a step back and say, why is it that we're launching this WAP SaaS platform? What's so unique about this SaaS platform? And I wanted to give you a view of how the technology has evolved, how the way we have done digital transformation has evolved, and why we need this new WAP approach to protect your APIs and your web application. Firstly, what we understand most of our customers are doing today is that the app that they roll out, whether it's web app or mobile app, it's traditionally it was served from one environment, like in AWS or on-prem. However, what we're seeing now is that the same app, like a single page app in a browser or a mobile app, is actually served from multiple environments. Like in AWS, it could be in other public cloud, it could be from on-prem. So basically, all these calls are like API calls or HTTP calls, but they're aggregating all this information into the app so that you can see, the user can experience a very powerful front end that can then access all the data that they need. So now, if you look back at how do you deliver such a complex application with so many API calls at the back, you kind of have to look at it from the hybrid cloud that we're seeing today. Most customers are choosing AWS, and then they have a private data center as well. And they may roll out some of these through a CDN, like content delivery network, to cache static content. And primarily, these are done by the two roles, the NetOps and StatOps, to provide the resiliency and the security services needed to protect the applications. Now, on the bottom right there, you will see the branch and customer edge. So, interestingly, we are seeing a lot more customers now deploying at the edge. Edge here could be serverless. It could be their own branches, their own factory floors, for example, that needs to be part of the infrastructure. So this is getting a lot more complex, as you can see. And if you add complexity in terms of our customers also going multi-cloud, right? And hence, there's a lot more moving parts involved in it. But no longer is this complexity kind of confined to NetOps and StatOps. It's gone into app dev and DevOps as well, because the app dev and developers are also part of the digital transformation to roll applications as quickly as they can. And if you think about how these 4 different roles are needed to work together to roll out the application and protect it and so on, it's actually very, very challenging, right? Because they are using different sets of tools today to protect and to deliver the applications. So you think about the security aspects of it, which is ever changing, and we are seeing a lot more sophisticated attacks coming through, be it bot protection, fraud protection. It's just getting more complicated as we go by. So what we want to be able to help our customers to solve is that these 4 different roles traditionally have been kind of working independently. What we want to do is to bring them together so that they can collaborate on a single platform. In that way, when they roll out applications, it will be seamless. They can connect the application delivery to their CI/CD pipeline so that the DevOps could actually deploy the application into production and still confine and comply to the guardrails of security policies that the SecOps has set up and the networking resiliency policies that the NetOps has set up. So in that way, you can actually have a CI/CD pipeline that allows you to have push out application as quickly as you can and complying to the policies that have already been set up. This is what we are able to achieve today with the F5 Distributed Cloud Platform. Infrastructure as code to help to deliver applications very quickly. Now, what is the application delivery networking platform that we're delivering today through the F5 Distributed Cloud? It's basically a global network, a private global network. A private global network that consists of many POPs all over the world. And these are what we call the regional edge, the REs, right? Here you go, the REs. And they're connected via 10 terabit per second backbone. Apologies there. Now, in addition to that, the platform comes with another a flavor called the customer edge, the CE. The CE is basically a customer premises footprint that you can how to get rid of this. A customer footprint that you can deploy in any environment, be it in AWS, be it in the customer's branch. Let me just get rid of this. So that you can form your own global infrastructure. How do I get rid of this? Okay, and you can manage it through a single console. So I just maybe I'll place it in the corner here so you won't be able to see it. Okay. And so you can manage these REs and CEs through a same console. And it's a single visibility for the entire global infrastructure that you own, as well as parts of it owned by F5 as part of our global delivery network, that infrastructure as well. So you can see here, you can have offices in Middle East or in China and maybe in Malaysia, all connected to our backbone and manage it centrally. Now, The WAP, the Web Application and API Protection, basically consists of these four components again: DDoS, the WAF engine, the bot detection, and API security. So that can run in our regional edge, in our F5 points of presence globally. And as I said, it can also run in your premises, let's say in AWS, or it can be on premises, or in your edges, in your branches as well. And all of these will manage centrally through one console. And the four different roles here: app dev, DevOps, control, the ways of automates with Splunk, Datadog, SIEM products that if you're using those, and also integrates automation tools like Terraform and the likes of those.
Hello, Chin. Are you okay? We can't hear you or see you. Hello, Chin.
Sorry about the technical issues. We just wait for Chin to come back.
He has dropped off, Jason. I'm just trying to see where he is.
Sorry about the technical issues, everybody. Now, when has come back, then we will continue on to his slides, but we'll move on to enhance your business insights and security posture with Splunk Cloud on AWS by Nicholas Tan, Regional Alliances Manager, South Asia and Korea of Splunk. Yeah, so let's welcome Nicholas Tan on stage. Hi, Nicholas, over to you.
Hey, hi. Let me know if you guys can see my slides. So before I start.
Yes, we can. Please proceed, Nicholas.
All right, thank you. Hey, hi, all partners. Thanks for joining into the sessions today. My name is Nicholas. I'm the Regional Channels and Alliance Manager from Splunk. So today I'm going to share with you how we can help your customers enhance or improve their overall business insight or posture. Okay, so we're going to focus on two areas. Primarily will be on security, and today I want to extend a little bit in the area of observability as well. Okay, and all these solutions will be based entirely on Splunk Cloud on AWS. Okay. So before I proceed to go down to the necessary meat details, right, I just want to give you guys an overview who we are at Splunk. Splunk is actually a data platform company. Now, to be specific, we focus a lot on machine data. All right. So that means data that is generated by devices, things like your servers, networks, even applications, right? So if you can see the slide on the left-hand side, the pictorial picture on the left, these are all the devices today that we can support, all right? And there are always questions from customers or partners say, what exactly machine data? Okay, so if you look at the yellow box at the bottom, you can see the series of information text that is not formatted well. All this is what we call machine data. Okay, it is not structured properly, so therefore, to able to format it nicely for you to do your investigation and analysis is not easy. All right. So today, this is what Splunk does to formulate nicely so that you can go and proceed to do all your necessary monitoring and investigation. Now, all these devices today, Splunk can support it regardless it's on the public cloud, private cloud, or even if the customers still have on-premise devices that we need to monitor. So all these different environments, Splunk can help to monitor all this machine data. And we primarily focus on 3 or rather 2 areas, right? Once all these data get ingested into the Splunk platform, right, we are able to look at the data, do investigation, monitor it, and even take action on 3 different areas, right? First is in security. Okay. Second is IT infrastructure operations. Last but not least, in the application space of DevOps. Okay, this last two, IT infra ops and DevOps, have kind of like merged to today what we call as observability, right? Due to the changing market trends of the consolidation. So I'm going to focus a lot more on security as well as a little bit on observability today. Okay. So our objective is to bring all this data consolidated into one platform so that you can use the data to answer any queries or questions that may come up from the security departments or from the observability folks. Okay. So if you today have customers telling you some of these questions that they are asking themselves, and this is where Splunk can come in, right? Things like, are we compliant? Right? Is my security posture complete? Is it centralized? Right? Is my operation running efficiently? Okay. Can we migrate to the cloud easily? And what happens if a hybrid environment? How can I centralize and optimize my overall monitoring? Okay. So if all these are questions that your customers are telling you, right, this is where Splunk solutions can come in to help manage all their business pains. Okay, so based on many years of experience, these are some of the positive outcomes that we bring forth with customers that you can actually share with them. From the security side, we have accelerated in terms of incident detection by over 90%, right? Therefore, helping them to reduce their overall business impact, right? As you all know, recently there's a lot of cases where whenever there's a cyber breach or a hack, it does impact their overall business, right? So this is where we can come in to help them. Okay. For the IT operations standpoint, our main objective is to help them to maintain uptime, all right? And if there's any incidents that happen, we want to help them to reduce their time to repair incidents, okay? Last but not least, DevOps, okay? So if you talk to the people in the DevOps space, a lot of them, their main priority is to have faster development cycles so that they can bring time to value of their business application quickly to the market and therefore generate revenue, right? So these are some of the positive outcomes Splunk provides to the customers. So if you speak to your customers and they mention these are the high priorities that they are looking for, this is where Splunk can come in to help. All right. So as the trend evolved today, Splunk has moved to a fully SaaS platform, okay, totally unified to support not only in the security domain, but as well in the observability domain as well. Okay, it's highly scalable, and because of the fact that we can support both of these domain areas, data can be reused, and it makes it even more economical for the customers, right? And from the partner's perspective, this is also good because once we land in one domain, we can continue to work in the next phase in the other domain as well. So data reusability and ability to grow with your customers, is a win-win for all partners and customers and us. All right. Right. So we have evolved to have Splunk Cloud today as our SaaS solutions, right? If you compare in the past, right, where you deploy Splunk as an on-premise solution, right, a lot of times you have to taking charge in terms of deployment, installing it, maintaining it, install fixes and patches, before you can actually go into building the use cases for your customers. That takes time. And today, customers' time to value is very, very important. Therefore, with the involvement of Splunk Cloud, we will now take charge in terms of taking care of deployment, creating the instances. If there's any update in the software, we'll update automatically for you and do the maintenance, right? So that partners can spend more time building use cases for your customers, right? And therefore generate services revenue for you, okay? And Splunk Cloud is also designed to actually come out with new features every 4 to 5 weeks. And what that means, you can actually create more use cases for your customers, okay? So going through Splunk Cloud is the way to go. And for partner standpoint, this will help you to generate more and more high value services revenue to your customers by building and focusing on building use cases. All right. So what kind of use cases? So if you can see on the slide, those highlight in blue, these are the use cases that we support today. So as you speak to the customer, they may tell you, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I want to have real-time security monitoring. I've concerned on insider threats. I'm focusing on fraud, compliance, all these key terms, right? Once you hear from customers, they are looking at all these kind of use cases. This is where Splunk can support, okay? And in addition to that, all the data sources that you see at the bottom slide coming from AWS cloud environment, we can help to aggregate and centralize all this data onto Splunk, all right, to cater and manage all the use cases customer is looking for. Okay, so take note, the ones in blue are important for you to have your socializing and understanding from the customers. What are the key asks they are looking for in the security domain? So I wanted to share with you a case study so that you guys can understand how we actually help customers in their journey in the security posture arena. Okay, so FINRA is actually a US-based regulatory authority customer, right? Initially, they had a lot of challenges with their earlier SIEM solutions, where they have very limited functionality to ingest huge amounts of data. Okay, what kind of data that they have in their environment? If you look at your bottom left, you can see huge amounts of AWS data sources that they have in their environment. And on top of that, they have on-premise data source as well, right? The Windows, VPN, so on and so forth, right? So huge amounts of data coming in a hybrid environment, okay? In addition, they have very inflexible user interface of their earlier solutions, and they are using multiple tools and can't centralize all this in one single view. With the deployment of Splunk, they have managed to solve all these problems, correlating all this data from all the data sources that they have in their environment, okay, and they are able to then subsequently monitor it in real time, which is very critical, okay. With our flexible dashboards, okay, they can make critical decisions in terms of taking actions as and when there's a breach happens, right? And because of all this deployment that are done, they now have much better operational efficiencies and catering to a fraud that they are focusing on. Okay, so this is one case study just to share with you how we actually help customers solve their challenges and what's their overall business impact out of it after deploying Splunk. All right. Okay, so who are the target personas that you should approach, at the end of the day? There are basically three groups. First, at the executive level, so folks like the VP of security or the CISO. Second level will be at the managerial level, folks like the SOC manager, manager of IT security. Okay, and the lowest level at the bottom is actually the security analyst. These are typically three groups of people that you would like to engage, understand their pain points, which are listed out here. Each group has different pain point priorities, right? And what are their goals, right? And as you actually speak with them and they tell you some of these pain points that are what I've shown you here, then there's actually fit that Splunk can come in to help you provide a positive outcome in terms of security posture for the customer. Okay. So moving right along, we also now cater in terms of observability. And what you see here in blue are all the use cases that we support in this domain. Okay, cloud migration is one, cloud infra monitoring, where we are able to monitor multiple containers and Kubernetes in customers' environment. Okay, we also are in the space of EPM. Okay, so if you have multiple microservices that your customers has built uh, where they have trouble monitoring and troubleshooting, okay, Splunk can come in to actually help in this area. Okay, and one key differentiator that Splunk has is that we provide non-sampling functionality. Okay, because some of our competitors out there they do sampling. Okay, because all these metrics are logs are huge amounts of data that comes in. But from Splunk perspective, we believe in no sampling. We are taking all data so that we can even detect the small period of abnormality, and we can actually quickly find out what is the cause to actually fix, let's say, for example, the performance of the application. And this is very, very highly critical for customers who are in a very high volume kind of space of ingesting huge amounts of data and where microservices are managing all this information. Okay. Again, let me share with you a use case study here. If you guys have gone into Lenovo e-commerce website, I'll be happy to let you know behind the scene is actually Splunk Observability Cloud Solutions that's supporting the uptime of the e-commerce platform today in Lenovo. All right. Prior to them using us, right, they have huge challenges in terms of high amount of web traffic and high data usage spikes, especially during the promotional period, and that's where they were struggling. Okay, so they have decided to use Splunk Observability Cloud, right, to help them cut down their troubleshooting time by almost half. Okay, and maintain 100% uptime despite the fact, right, during the promotional seasons, they had 300% increase in the web traffic. Okay, so we have a very happy customer, Lenovo, they're using well for us, and the data is actually still continue to grow. Okay, and in observability side, who are the key personas that you should go to and speak with? Okay, will be at the top level, will be the chief data officer, CDO, or the CTO or CIO. Okay, at the middle level, you should look at the VP of cloud operations, the observability, DevOps. Okay, these are the middle level folks. And right at the bottom will be the end user. Okay, typically the DevOps engineers and the SREs. Okay, now they're actually listed down in three of these boxes here. Each of them again will have different concerns. All right, and when you speak with them and they mention any of these concerns, that means there's a good fit for Splunk to support and drive outcomes for the customers. Okay. So in a summary, what you see on your right-hand side is all the positive outcomes that we want to drive for the customers, right? So you as a partner, if these are the things that you're hearing that customers want to go towards to, right, then that's a good fit. Okay, so my call to actions for all the partners out there is try to identify and speak to your customers what are their priority outcomes for the next 1 or 2 years, right? And if any of the use cases that I shared earlier is something that customers is looking towards in terms of their project progression for the next 1-2 years, and if it is, please connect with Splunk as well as Westcon team to support you in driving this particular opportunity. Okay, so in a gist, this is what I have. Thank you. And if there's any questions, happy to take it.
Jason, you are muted. If you can unmute, please. Jason, you're muted. If you can unmute, please.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for the wonderful insights into the security posture with Splunk Cloud. Now, sorry for the previous presentation by Chinkin for the technical issue. So right now we'll just continue back to his presentation. So I'd like you to welcome on the stage Chinkin.
Thank you, Jason. Apologies, everyone. This is a part of the, didn't do the spring cleaning of my laptop. I ran out of hard disk and it just literally crashed on me. So apologies for that. So let me share. I think you are seeing my screen now. Are you? Jackie, are we seeing?
Yes, you can carry on with your sharing.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Okay, okay, let me bring it full blown. I think this is where I left off, right? Before my machine crashed. So with the launch of the F5 Distributed Cloud Platform, what we have now is a single control plane, a single console. It's a SaaS-based console that allows multiple personas to log in. So we're talking about DevOps, NetOps, and SetOps. They can collaborate and push out their WAF policies and API security to any location that they want it to go to. It can be in public cloud, it can be on-prem, and it can be in the branch at the edge for serverless deployment. So this is a very innovative way of controlling your infrastructure so that you have a single view, a single control over all your security policies, be it API or just web-based applications or any type of application from one central location. All right, now with that, I'm going to pivot into the campaign that we're running, and this is in particular to address the sales team on this call, the partners of Westcon. With this particular launch that we just did last week, we want to make it easy for our partners to be able to learn, to try it, and also to sell it to our customers. Yeah, it is a self-service portal, which means that you can pretty much learn this on your own. But there are a lot of tools that we provide to help you to get up to speed on it. And it's really literally very simple because, like I said earlier, it takes less than 5 minutes to onboard your customer's application and to protect them from all the advanced threats that we're seeing now in the market. Now, in addition to the tools that we're providing, we're also incentivizing our partners to get onto this program so that it can help us to sell the first few Cloud WAF to our customer base. And there's some very interesting rebates that we announced. $750 per partner rebate for each customer that is sold during this period up to the end of June 30th. All right. And if you're able to do it for the first 10 customers in our region, you'll get double, so 1,500 USD for every win that you do from now until June 30th. So I suggest that if you could get your technical team, who probably will be attending the other session that's running in parallel, to get to understand the technology, and that you could wrap up, this self-service SaaS to your customers. Now, our marketing team is also hard at work to help you to reach out to your customers. So we have this thing called Distributed Cloud Campaign Journey. We have a funding for that, what we call Marketing Development Fund of about 2.5K USD to work with you to reach out to your customer base. Yeah, and we can also run what we call a Blitz Day, where we would be calling out with using our BD. Business development team in Singapore, and we serve the region, ASEAN, so that we could reach out to your customers. And if it's successful in terms of arranging a meeting, you will get some gifts, right? Some vouchers. And if you're able to get a one-to-one session with the customer so that we can do a demo or simulation, then it'll be very interesting incentives for you to do that as well. But most importantly is the ability to win, up to 1,500 for the first 10 customers. So I think we won't be able to do the demo, but I just wanted to show you what we call the simulator. So if you go to this particular URL, right, you will get into a simulator, which allows you to basically interact with the WAP platform, and you will be guided to key in, the name of the app, so that you can actually experience how you would onboard a web application. All right, so it goes through the entire cycle so that you are familiar with that platform. So it's a simulator. At the same time, we also have very nice videos created to kind of walk through all the capabilities under this WAP offering. And all these are available in YouTube as well. Okay. Now, I just want to quickly wrap up on how we are packaging this service. Yeah. The way it's packaged is all the fees here you're seeing is a monthly fee. So we would expect most of our customers to be joining us at the organization plan. The team's individual and freemium, if you like, are basically for others to just try out using their credit cards. But what we are looking for is customers to join us at organization through you as a partner, and the fee to get onboarded for the first WAF, right, to protect the first FQDN, if you like, on the website, would be just $2,000 a month. And if you need, like, for example, additional FQDN, you just top up $200 per month. You need API security, you top up $1,000 a month. You need advanced bot protection, you top up $4,000 a month. So it's very easy. SaaS, being SaaS means that you can add on the services that you need on demand by just topping up, right? If you need DDoS mitigation, it's about $3,500 a month, right? So that's how easy it is to get onboarded. Just $2,000 a month, you can get your WAF protected website up and running. So let me just sum it up with this, some key differentiators that I highlighted just now. Let me sum it up into one slide. The first thing is about the security efficacy. We're talking about taking the most advanced WAF engine from F5, we call it the Big IP AWAF engine, and made that available now as SaaS. And then we complement that with the most advanced bot and fraud detection engine from Shape Security. So in terms of efficacy for WAF and bot protection, it's the highest today in the market. We made that available as a SaaS for self-service. Now, if you go to the next column here, is automation and integration. What we believe our customers are doing now is that they're trying to streamline their workflow from CI/CD pipelining, like from DevOps, all the way to automating infrastructure as code so that they can protect their websites. But that requires everyone to work together, meaning the different roles like DevOps, SetOps, and NetOps to really work together collaboratively on the same platform. So the reason why on the same platform is because you want to avoid misconfiguration or misunderstanding of common terms being used. For example, if you say that the DevOps says that I want to protect API number 10, everybody understands, NetOps and SetOps also understands API number 10 is this particular API. There's no ambiguity. And that's what a common platform allows you to do, is to have a common definition for all three teams to work together, right? And work through seamlessly. So that's on the automation and integration part. And then the last part there is performance and flexibility. As I mentioned earlier, the way we provision these WAP services, right, can be done in our infrastructure, the F5 infrastructure, through our regional edge or POPs globally. So that would be something that we provision for you in RE. But it can also be deployed in your customer's premises, like on-prem in their AWS. And that would be just next to the application. So why would you need that? perhaps you want to protect your internal applications that are accessible by employees. So employee traffic will flow through to the internal applications within the intranet. They wouldn't go out to the internet and come back in, right? So then you need to have consistent policy in terms of WAF and API to apply to internal apps as well as the external app. And that would be defined by the SecOps in terms of guardrails, right? A global policy that everybody would inherit from. So that's how we make it possible, RE and CE, to a very flexible deployment model to help our customers to manage this very complex infrastructure that they own today. And finally, the WAP that I just mentioned is just one pillar of what the distributed cloud platform can deliver. It's the first one that we rolled out through this campaign. But what's available in the same platform today is multi-cloud networking as well, MCN. Multi-cloud networking basically helps you to connect to AWS and on-prem, like hybrid cloud, to make it easy for you to have what we call app-to-app communication or API to API calls, across the hybrid network. And it also has its own Kubernetes pads that you can deploy at the edge in, like, say, branches, remote edges that are very difficult for you to provide, let's say, operation team to maintain. So we're talking about perhaps 100 branches or 1,000 branches managed centrally, a Kubernetes platform in these 100,000 branches managed centrally. So managed PaaS, MCN, WAP on a single unified platform called the F5 Distributed Cloud. Okay, very powerful story that we have here. But in this particular event here, we are showing you the WAP capabilities, and hopefully you can get started with that particular part of the pillar, the WAP on the distributed cloud. All right, so with that, thank you so much for your attention, and bring you back to Jackie, please.
Right, thank you so much, Shin, for the great presentation. Now, let's move on to the next presentation, Securing Digital Transformation by Patrick Hall, Prism Cloud Specialist, Sales Specialist, ASEAN from Palo Alto Networks. Patrick, over to you.
All right. Jason, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. My name is Patrick Hall. I am one of the cloud sales security specialists here at Palo Alto Networks. I've been with the organization for about 3 years. As a lot of you know, Palo Alto Networks has traditionally been a firewall company, but has taken great steps and investments into expanding our security offerings. And what I'll talk about today is specifically in the area of cloud security. Now, before I get started, I do want to provide a bit of context before I just jump right into what it is that we're doing. So I think that it will give you guys a bit more of a sense of why we're doing what we're doing and why this is important when we start to consider the long-term view of cloud adoption, and considering a lot of the information that's been shared with you all today. So I'll start by basically, just thinking about how organizations start, in terms of the cloud, right? So, over the last several years, organizations have started, their journey to the cloud. They've simply moved workloads from the data center to the cloud. This has allowed them to leverage the economies of scale that the cloud offers. Now, in doing this, there weren't any rewrites of the apps. They simply lifted and shifted the applications as is. And this category of applications still represents the lion's share of what we see in the cloud today. Now, this proved to be a very good place for organizations to start because it allowed them to protect the investments that they've already made in certain business workflows, business logic, and also in the investments in data that they have trapped in their on-premise data centers. But also at the same time, it is allowing the door to be open for IT modernization, allowing organizations to move to this more extensible, flexible architecture in the cloud. But what we are starting to see, though, is a paradigm shift in how these applications are built and how they're deployed. So increasingly, developers are starting to take advantage of the modern technologies in the cloud, things like containers, things like PaaS services, continuous integration, continuous delivery. Now, these are often referred to as CI/CD, but taking advantage of those workflows to build and deploy the applications at greater velocity. So In fact, some of our largest customers have a bulk of their applications that are already deployed as cloud native. And they are able to rapidly deploy their applications to the cloud by leveraging the cloud native services. And for a lot of organizations, this often results in a significant cost savings over running applications on traditional infrastructure. We're thinking in this situation, things like VMs, EC2, so on. But last but not least, there still are a number of applications that have been rewritten to take advantage of cloud native components that are deployed in the private cloud. And the reality is that a large percentage of organizations don't use one or the other, but essentially they use a combination of multi-cloud environments. So that could be private cloud, public cloud, etc. And they typically have a combination of legacy applications that are running still on that lift and shift, and then also cloud native applications. You can think about this in terms of cloud first organizations, that all new applications are built using cloud native technologies, or obviously when organizations are embarking on that, refactoring of some of those legacy applications. And as it is, one of our largest customers happens to have over 1,000 applications that are running across all three of these different cloud environments. And we actually expect this trend to continue. As what we've read in analyst reports, essentially they're saying that the future for organizations is going to be hybrid cloud. So when we think about this, the question really becomes, how do we secure this path to innovation, as a security team, or as more broadly as an organization, which is how this problem is starting to be considered. Now, any conversation around cloud security really starts with this model. It's very basic, but essentially it sort of lays out the framework for how organizations should think about security. Your cloud service provider is going to be providing the security for, what we call of the cloud, right? So security of that physical layer. But organizations are responsible for pretty much everything that they're doing in the cloud. So that's going to include things like the resource configurations. Popular example here is S3 buckets being public facing, the users and their credentials, making sure that they're secure, the network, data, the host, containers, functions, everything that makes up that application environment as well. This is going to fall on the hands and on the shoulders, I should say, of the organization to provide this security. Now, this is even made more complex by the fact that today's organizations are using a combination of clouds, as I've talked about already. They're using a combination of tech stacks. They have some legacy applications. They have some applications that are so-called cloud native. And all of these things, present challenges for the organization. And so to understand this, it's really useful to think about this in terms of layers, right? So at our foundational level, organizations are leveraging multiple cloud computing platforms. They're, the AWSs of the world, the Azures, the Oracle, Ali Cloud, and so on. And they're using that to deliver more quickly, deliver innovation more quickly, and at greater scale. And these cloud platforms require a modern, purpose-built tooling that enables organizations to span across multiple clouds. Next, we think about the tech stack. Organizations are building and running their applications, taking advantage of the combination of the tech and compute stacks. A lot of times, they're using all of them as needed for based on the the particular need of the business or the use case and so on. And so, whether you're using a standalone virtual machine, containers, Kubernetes, using some of the PaaS or serverless architectures, you're going to need to gain visibility into the vulnerabilities, into the compliance issues, runtime security. And this is especially challenging given the high rate of change in cloud environments. And lastly, when we think about application components, and thinking about how we're going to secure the cloud environments, it's essential for an organization to have the visibility, the compliance and security that's going to span the full application lifecycle. Any security issue or misconfiguration can lead to compliance issues or security risk across the entire cloud environment or application. And so all of these layers, all of these components need to be secured holistically at every organization. So why do organizations struggle with this? Well, some of the primary reasons are, and perhaps one of the biggest reasons, is that organizations have this habit or have this motion of accumulating a lot of different point products for securing their application lifecycle. Typically, what we've observed is, one point product per technology per use case. And what that results in, and what we've seen firsthand, is a lot of organizations have a quite a large number of what we call point products. They're disintegrated. They're not really impacting the organization in any meaningful way. And we believe that these security problems should be addressed by leveraging what which I'll explain more, but is by a platform-centric approach to cloud security. Secondly is around complexity. So it's already there in the cloud, all of the things that I just mentioned around scale, around the different flavors of compute, for example, the different offerings that are available. And I think that in this environment, it can be really difficult for organizations to understand their overall level of risk and to get visibility into everything that they have in the cloud and to what their risk posture is. And I think finally is really around when we think about traditional best practices for security and sort of how those best practices are changing. Typically security was solely within the hands or in the domain of a security team. But, for organizations now, if they're going to be able to prevent the sophisticated attacks that we're seeing, that can no longer be the case. Security is going to need to be integrated across the organization from a centralized platform that provides a single source of truth for the organization, a single UI, a single policy engine, and then everything that flows from that, right? The ease of management, the automation, and all of the things that are enabled by that approach. So clearly there's a lot of things that are going on. When we think about how cloud security differs from a security standpoint, how it differs from sort of our on-premise or our traditional network security. And so the question always, the question arises a lot of the time is, how do we put some structure around this? And so, what we've done is, we sort of just deferred or taken note of what the analysts like Gartner are saying about this. And so recently, Gartner has defined a new category called the Cloud Native Application Protection Platform, or CNAPP for short. Now, there is a report available. I can try and get that out for you guys later on if you guys want to read through it. But I'll just sum up some of the points. And essentially what they're saying is that, if organizations are going to, seriously adopt cloud, they need to look at specialized cloud security tools. And so in the report, they've listed out vendors that are in the CNAPP space. And of course, Palo Alto Networks is one of them. Now, the next question I normally get is around Magic Quadrants. Currently, there is no Magic Quadrant for this. One should be coming soon. That's typically the way that it goes with Gartner. But we're quite confident that once that Magic Quadrant comes out, we will be in a very strong position. But one of the other things that I wanted to point out and that I thought was quite interesting is that the cloud service providers, they're not listed in the report. So even though the cloud service providers have a lot of native security tool offerings, they're not listed. So the question is, why is that? Well, the reason is because Gartner has acknowledged that for most organizations to do security properly, whether that's using one cloud provider or multiple cloud providers, you need to have a specialized capability, because it's not just about offering a tool, but it's about being able to leverage sort of the people and process to be able to make sure that you're using those tools in a way that makes sense for the organization. So again, there's a lot of detail in the report. This is another screenshot from the report. Again, you can have a look at it. But one of the things that I want to leave you with is the quote here from the top of the page, which essentially states that to successfully implement cloud native application security, enterprises should use an integrated platform approach referred to as cloud native application protection platforms. starting in development and extending into production. And so what they've done here is they've highlighted their vision and their view of what the capabilities should be for a CNAP. What are the capabilities customers should be looking for? Hey, does it have API scanning? Does it have exposure scanning, network segmentation, things like that? Because that's going to give the best security outcome to an organization, essentially integrating as many of these capabilities as possible. So now that kind of brings us to, with that context, sort of brings us to what we've been doing, right? And kind of, I think for quite a while, been doing this a bit quietly, and I think now more recently making a bit more noise. But we've sort of recognized this pretty early on. I'd say probably since 2015. In 2018, shortly before I joined the organization, things really picked up and really got going in earnest. So essentially, the way we've been going about building towards this vision is we've been making strategic acquisitions. We've been integrating them. And really, our goal is delivering best-in-class security for the cloud. So it started with acquisitions of Evident and Redlock back in 2018, 2019. That formed the basis of our multi-cloud security and compliance capability. We enhanced those capabilities by acquiring Twistlock and PureSec. Again, these were the leaders at the time in container and serverless security. And those technologies, again, being integrated with Evident and Redlock, basically form the basis of our cloud workload protection platform. But then more broadly, is that time Prisma Cloud was born as a platform. So last year, we acquired and integrated Appareto, leveraging their micro-segmentation. We built in-house capabilities for cloud data security, cloud infrastructure entitlement management. And finally, we acquired and integrated a Bridge Crew to secure infrastructure as code templates, which is an emerging security requirement in the cloud. So quite a lot has been happening over the last 4 or 5 years or so. And we're very proud, and we think that the proof speaks for itself. We secure over 2,700 customers today, over 70% of the Fortune 100, and at tremendous scale in terms of the size of the cloud environments that we are securing. So what this looks like today, most recently, we launched Prisma Cloud 3.0 just in the last couple of months. And so this is what this looks like today, and this is very much aligned to Gartner's view and Gartner's vision for what a CNAP should look like and what are the kind of capabilities that it should entail. So we've got what you see here is 5 pillars. So cloud code security around securing app artifacts, IAC, analyzing code, and so on. The next is cloud security posture management. So this is going to be sort of the starting point for a lot of conversations that you would have with customers. Hey, we're in the cloud, whether it's a lift and shift situation or a cloud native situation or what have you. But we need to see what we have there. We need to make sure that the configurations are correct. We need to make sure that we're meeting any compliance standards that we have. The next, cloud workload protection. Again, this is going back to those cloud native applications, right? So securing the host, if you're running a traditional application environment, securing the containers, the serverless, and so on, and the PaaS services that make up those modern cloud architectures. The next is the cloud network security. So this gives organizations the ability to monitor and secure the cloud networks, and enforcing micro-segmentation, more specifically identity-based micro-segmentation, which is a bit of an evolution from network-based micro-segmentation. And basically the modern way to go about segmenting your networks. And then lastly is cloud identity security. So this is really around enforcing permissions, IAM security, and so on. And then as you see there across the bottom is full application lifecycle, bringing these capabilities through the build, ship, and run phase of applications. So these are some of the use cases for Prisma Cloud. So essentially visibility use cases. Again, I won't get into a lot of detail here, just highlight a few. So the resource inventory, user activity monitoring, and the compliance use cases, probably 17 or 18 standards out of the box. For my partners, Malaysia, RMIT compliance is now out of the box. The mass compliance for folks in Singapore is now out of the box as well. For others around the region, if you have compliance that is regional to you, we have a very easy way to create custom compliance standards or policies that can be implemented within the platform. Compute security as well. This is one of the areas where we partner with a lot of our cloud service providers in providing this capability for their customers, because this is a gap for pretty much every cloud service provider's offering in what they're making available to customers. So that's securing containers, the microsegmentation, runtime security. We also have a web application firewall and API security offering as well. And then lastly is around SOC enablement. So we know that security tools are really great at generating alerts. We have a very rich data set. I'd say probably one of the best in the industry that really makes our risk scoring, our prioritization, alert prioritization capabilities, I'd say probably second to none. Based on the amount of data, based on what we can do with that data. Obviously, we can train our machine learning algorithms and to be better than pretty much anyone else, right? So that's very useful in allowing organizations to prioritize. Auto remediation features as well as integration. And I'll just, I guess, jump to the next slide to talk about integration. So integrations with your SIEM tools, with your SOAR tools, integration with secret management tools, registries, different CI tools that developers might be using. And then also in terms of our support. So you see there at the bottom, we support all of the major clouds that are out there. Also the container platforms, the Kubernetes platforms that your customers may be using, offering support for that. Again, the idea of this is being one platform, single UI, single policy engine that can be built and leveraged, or that can be configured and then leveraged for your customers' organization, and then be leveraged and deployed throughout the cloud, whatever cloud environments or technologies or developer tools that they're using. In terms of pricing, I see I'm right at 20 minutes. So I'll take maybe just 2 more minutes. In terms of pricing, this is another differentiator for us as well. It's quite simple. It's just one SKU. We don't have different SKUs if you want cloud security posture management, or if you want cloud network security or anything like that. It makes it very simple for organizations to plan and budget what their security spend is going to be. And so essentially the way it works is like this. I'll use the analogy of a carnival. You go to the carnival, you spend $50 and get a bucket of tokens, and then you take those tokens and spend them on games and rides, as many times as you want to ride them. So it's essentially the same thing here. You would purchase a bucket of credits, and then depending upon the size of your cloud environment, then essentially you would just consume those credits depending upon what the cloud security features you want to enable, right? So if you want to enable cloud workload protection or cloud security posture management, then you would just enable that, and then you would consume the credits based on the size of your cloud environment. So the last thing I'll leave you with is sort of some conversation starters that you can use with some of your customers, right? So I'll take maybe just 1 or 2 more minutes. So the first one, so again, call to action, right? How do we start this conversation? For a lot of organizations, this is, relatively new territory. And they have a lot more questions probably than they have answers. And so it really is an opportunity for us in the early stages to sort of shape the conversation, to sort of, really have that trusted advisor approach, with organizations to help kind of guide them through this journey, right? So the first one that we want to think about is single cloud or multi-cloud. Prisma Cloud is relevant in both of those situations. If they're leveraging single cloud, they're probably leveraging some CSP tool. But there are gaps in that. And, we don't compete with the CSPs. We basically are a complementary offering, and we're there to basically fill in the gaps for those organizations with what they're using. The next one is, if I can get my slide to advance, yes, lift and shift versus app modernization. So for most organizations, this is really an aspirational state to get to a DevSecOps place, right? So they want to modernize their applications, but from a security perspective, from a skill set perspective, they're not sure how it might work. So again, this is an opportunity for you to partner with them to help them sort of help enable that app modernization, aspiration or vision that they have. Last couple here, CSP tools versus specialized platform. Again, if they're using cloud native tools, that's great. We would want to ask them how we can come in and show them how we can help address the gaps that are there with what the CSPs are providing. And then lastly, you look at this, the team size, right? The security team size versus the DevOps team size, right? Security team is usually much smaller than the dev team. And so again, having a specialized platform can serve as a force multiplier for organizations, if they really want to be able to enable a dev SecOps sort of aspirational vision or aspirational view. So with that, that's all I have today. And again, I'll be available. Would love to help you guys with questions or anything like that you might have. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much, Patrick, for your presentation on how you can secure your customers' digital transformation on the cloud. Before we move on to the next speaker, I would like to remind everybody to fill in the survey form. We still have some time, and there's actually 3 lucky winners. They'll be able to win US dollars 250 shopping vouchers. Right. So we'll move on to the next speaker, Your Cloud Everywhere with Mirantis Flow by Stefan Beaumont, Email and APAC Channel Sales Director from Mirantis. Stefan, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. More than happy to be here, and happy welcome from Paris City. I'm based in France, so hello from the other world. Just want to talk about a few words about Mirantis Flow, our new offer for data center as a service. So just me, Stéphane Beaumont, I'm managing sales and channel and alliance for EMEA and APAC region, working with a team all over Asia and based in Singapore, of course, with Westcon. So just few words to introduce Mirantis. We are now a company to offer a solution whose mantra is cloud everywhere. In the last decade, we have seen an explosion of the public cloud with the most famous provider, of course, AWS is part of, which are ultra efficient. But we have seen also many companies migrate from on-prem to the cloud, but not necessarily in full. So the challenge today is to be able to use a set of tools of any infrastructure with a cloud-like experience. And the idea for us as Mirantis is to reconcile the on-prem legacy that you have probably had or your customer had for many years with the cloud to which your business is attracted without. However, denying the security and privacy issue, Mirantis is here to bring you this unique experience. And I want to give 2 words in order to accelerate your own modernization and innovation with the cloud. Now, Mirantis, in terms of company, we are now nearly 700 people worldwide with a focus on cloud and open source technology. This is one of our key differentiators. And today we have more than 800 customers and a lot of new logo. And you can see on this list of new logo, someone like Splunk, who already make a presentation later, and they're using in their own data center our technology. But of course, you've got also big names like PayPal, Visa, or Apple, and now it's work a lot. Just in terms of customer, just want to take an example. So everybody knows Société Générale is the 5 most important bank in Europe, present in Asia also. And now they are using our technology since the acquisition of Docker a few years ago, because Mirantis acquired Docker Enterprise a few years ago, and now Société Générale, so the global technical solution in the central IT provider for Société Générale, they operate more than 1,000 servers, 30,000 containers with a roadmap already planned for 3 years to reach 200,000 containers with critical applications. So with Societe Generale, we make a real private cloud running with exactly the same mechanism you can find in the public cloud area. Just want to highlight also this G2 Gartner related organization that does a survey, especially on the container management. And they show the customer feedback that place Mirantis as a leader with, of course, all our competitors. But Mirantis, due to the acquisition and this open source, is really seen as a leader. When I say open source is really something when we are completely committed. So Mirantis was one of the creator of OpenStack. So they deliver OpenStack as an open source to the Input Infrastructure Foundation, but also due to the acquisition of Docker. So the Containerd technology is now part of the Cloud Native Foundation. So our open source commitment is really key in our DNA. So just one few words about the history of Mirantis. As you can see, the company was created in 2011, and that's start this contribution to the OpenStack project. In parallel, in 2013, Docker start his journey with the containerization. And there is one thing, one key element in 2017 is when Kubernetes, coming from the Google technology, moved to the CNCF and became the project open source. So at this stage, Docker was schizophrenic with Kubernetes on one side and Swarm in the other way. So in 2019, so 2 years and a half ago right now, Mirantis take the decision to acquire all the assets of Docker Enterprise, so basically all the orchestration and the know-how and the providers. Docker is still existing, focus on the developers with tools on that. And with this acquisition, Mirantis take the opportunity to reconcile all the OpenStack, so the virtualization part, the red line atop, to the blue line with Kubernetes Engine. So Mirantis Kubernetes Engine is now combined to our virtualization tools. And we created with this product, so 6 months ago, the live GA was last September, to create this cloud native data center as a service product with Mirantis Flow. So Mirantis Flow is currently this open source cloud native data center as a service with GA in September 16 last year. What is exactly Mirantis Flow? We want to help you, to help your customer to save much as 50% in data center software and support by switching from VMware to Mirantis. Our new Mirantis Cloud Native Data Center as a service help your customer and you to save big by replacing VMware with modern open source software built on cloud native infrastructure, reducing required hardware by 50% or more, using open source software for defined storage and networking, of course, and increases automation and freeing of staff from routine administration. So why exactly Mirantis Flow is done what? So firstly, the power of choice shift to the customer. We're giving customer the tools and the capacity in a simplified package that allow them to choose for their own on-premise data center as well in the public cloud. They can make this choice and they want to make it. If they want some virtualization, they can have some virtualization with our OpenStack. If they need containerization on-prem, of course, they can have. If they want to start consuming public cloud services from first containerization, such as putting their Mirantis Kubernetes engine on EC2 instance, it's possible. So we give the liberty, the freedom for choice to all the customer. But also, and the most important thing is we want to help to liberate staff to focus on building business value. All the customer doesn't want to have this large IT company, a large IT team but we want to enable them and our customer to focus on building application and not make only infrastructure as a service. We want to focus and we want to help to create value for their business and not to spend their time worried about underfying infrastructure challenging with providing and dealing with building out and cloud platform or managing public cloud platform. We're offering one platform with everything together. We have the choice of virtualization or containerization, or both together, of course. And on top of that, all this virtualization and containerization are in a single package delivered from Mirantis. Earlier, we spoke about the open source challenge. We want to empower the capacity of the company to join open source and this large part of innovation. And we're taking away all the challenge from the team of dealing with a sustainable open source strategy for a lot of customers. We want to deliver this infrastructure without the guarantee outcome we can have. So we can offering with Mirantis Flow a number of guarantee to our customer. The first of those guarantee is rapid deployment. We're promising the deployment and readiness to go live with workloads within 2 days of the hardware being verified on premise. So that I mean, if the customer wants Mirantis Container Cloud, if they want an OpenStack cluster, they can have in 48 hours. Capacity we have to deliver in these managed services, I go further for that. We're providing the promise of reducing operational overhead by bringing the capacity of our product through Mirantis Container Cloud plus layering on upscale. This is our service offer. I go further, and we take all the operational overhead for that to concern all the customers themselves of operating their infrastructure across both on-prem or the conception of public cloud. We can see later this model in the future way. So we want to bring this rapid deployment with reduced overhead and capacity to onboard to start a lot of workload as soon as possible in a complete solution, including technology, open source innovation, and also services around that. What is the use case we want to address with Mirantis Flow? Basically, it's really have the capacity to replace VMware deployment using virtualization with SXC, vCenter, or vCloud. And we can help customers who are getting stuck in the VMware world and starting to worry about the cost of VMware and the complexity of VMware when they can want just to have a journey to container. We want to address also any customer with on-premise, on-private data center implementation, and they want to go in the public way. We can help the company to make this move from legacy data center to public cloud with some hybrid strategy. Of course, we are also helping them due to the virtualization and containerization mindset to start to build this way. Basically, we are completely open source. So, and I mentioned earlier, any customer who want an open source first strategy, we are here to help them to provide this open source knowledge, to provide this underlying system, and provide all the tools in the way they have to make this open source. But of course, they don't have to worry about it because we deliver with our services in a proactive or reactive mode or full managed services. I will engage after. Basically, all the open source cloud native data center, the blue line, we provide through our platform all these needs to be able to deliver for both virtualization and containerization in the data center. What's included in this offer in terms of product? Basically, we've got Mirantis Container Cloud, Mirantis Kubernetes Engine, Mirantis OpenStack on Kubernetes. This is really the product engaged in this cloud native platform we want to deliver with Flow, with all the blue and with all the technology. Basically, you can see in blue one all the technology engaged in this cloud native platform with Flow. I just want to highlight on top of that two big projects we've got in the open source where, so K0s is very lightwise distribution for Kubernetes, and Lens with an idea, so very engaged with the developers. Of course, everything is available for the developers, but it's another story. All these cloud native platforms, you can see a lot of partnering we work with, and there is this large stuff, very easy to engage. Basically, what is the message we want to deliver with Mirantis Flow is this: Mirantis Container Cloud could be the door opener for any technology you want to address. So virtualization with OpenStack, or containerization with Mirantis Kubernetes Engine, based on any public cloud or virtualization. So of course on bare metal, but also public cloud. Just want to highlight, we've got a very important partnership with Equinix, with the offer Equinix Metal, and we can deliver with Equinix a truly mini AWS dedicated to you, not on the public cloud, but with this capacity to deliver some services around that. Of course, all the security issue will be addressed by Mirantis Secure Registry and Mirantis Container Runtime embedded in this Mirantis Flow offer. How we can deliver that? So this is the most important part because OpsCare is our services offer and is the backbone to delivering this cloud native data center as a service. The OpsCare Plus subscription is completely accompanied by the Mirantis Cloud Native Data Center software to deliver an as-a-service experience in your data center, on-premise, on bare metal, so in your data center. OpsCare Plus take responsibility, so Mirantis take the responsibility for design, deployment, monitoring, management, operation, lifecycle management, and of course, scaling the infrastructure. OpsCare Plus is really a service offer, a mature offering that our customer have been enjoy over the last 6 years based on OpenStack, but also now on Kubernetes to deliver 49% availability with an average customer NPS around 70. So we follow a strong ETIL framework that gives the customer an expectation of the structure we are working in. So OpsCare is our baseline support offering that provide for proactive services in the customer based on monitoring, and customer receive proactive support with very high availability with the OpsCare for that. Just to be concrete, we've got two big offers, so OpsCare and OpsCare Plus. Basically, it's the level of service you want to address. So in the OpsCare, we are really in a co-pilot approach. With OpsCare Plus, this is support plus managed services on-premise for the customer, including all the subscription you can have. So as part of Mirantis Flow, the customer receive access to all Mirantis products. As part of the OpsCare Plus, we're also going to be adding in support the Dell Lens spaces and namespace to help with DevOps to increase. We can be used to provide a higher level of support directly at the Kubernetes cluster level. With OpsCare, we all provide the direction, and now we are in this proactive mode. When you are in the OpsCare Plus, we handle the full gamut of the service you need to deliver this cloud native data center platform. Basically, what is including in terms of pricing for your customer? So this Mirantis Flow based offering is for 1,000 core, so 1,000 core vCPU license, and the cost is 15K per month for an OpsCare, so a proactive mode, and it's 24K with a complete virtualization plus containerization and including all the managed services for this platform to have it. This includes all the product we already mentioned, and it's really now something we can deliver. we are completely open and with a worldwide organization in terms of support and services to deliver in any part of the world. So with Mirantis Flow, we want to really help the customer to slash the effort for managing infrastructure. Mirantis Flow enable this evolution of infrastructure, moving from legacy to modern cloud native platform. We eliminate all the friction from infrastructure. We've embedded some value added with our service offer. And of course, and very important for a lot of numbers of customers, we empower the customer open source strategy for that. Basically, with this offer, the major objective of Mirantis is to enable our consumer to ship code faster. So it's to make to leading simplicity, security, and open standard to enable them. There is no vendor locking in the value. We want to empower the customer in the public cloud native infrastructure can also be consumed in the integrated hybrid model, so both legacy and public cloud, or building a private cloud with the partnership we've got with Equinix. We deliver this on-prem true cloud experience at scale, integrated with both Metal or virtual provider, supporting all the update and zero downtime. And as a company, we are now really growing to deliver this cloud everywhere model, because due to the acquisition of Docker, we are now nearly 700 people plus in the company, with more than 200 people in R&D and 200 people in that lack of support, with very close partnership with both to help our customer to deliver this cloud native data center as a service with the service we can provide to them. So thank you very much to help me. Just want to highlight, we've got with Westcon Store a lot of people already embedded with this technology. We've got some people in the field in all the region we can address. So in Singapore, of course, and we are more than happy to help you. So if you have any question about this cloud data center as a service, Mirantis Flow offer, you can contact me directly, or of course the team of Westcon. So more than happy to take some question if there is, but I think in the flow we are going to have later in the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stefan, for your wonderful presentation, and thank you so much for your time. I understand that it's quite early in France right now, and let's move on to the next presentation, Unlock the Cloud Operating Model with HashiCorp, by Yogesh, Partner Sales Manager ASEAN of HashiCorp. Yogesh, over to you.
Thank you, Team Westcon, for giving us the opportunity to present HashiCorp and giving us a platform to reach out to your partners as well. I hope my screen is shared and visible. What's basically HashiCorp and where the cloud of where the world of cloud is moving? Based on our experience so far, there are three I would say burning issues most of the enterprise customers are facing right now when you're talking about your digital transformation or cloud to journey. One is time to market, how fast you can automate your applications, how well you can enable them for a self-service. The key is the agility to the DevOps practice. Second is the security and governance. So at the same time, when you are giving a fast application delivery or enabling the self-service, the key aspect is to have policies as well as guardrails to make sure that your security controls are still intact and those are not compromised under the name of going to the market fast. And the third one is operational efficiency, where how do you increase the productivity at the same time keeping your cost across the clouds lower. And these are the three priorities we have seen in our conversations while talking to the banks or some of the big enterprise across the world. What HashiCorp basically does is we enable the provisioning, securing, connecting, and running of the apps across the cloud. Doesn't matter whether it's your on-premise, whether it's your multi-cloud, or whether it's your hybrid cloud infrastructure. We help customer unlock their cloud operating model for their digital transformation journey. The products which are mentioned below under the category of infrastructure, networking, security, and application. Currently, most of these products are available under open source project, but at the same time, Terraform, Consul, Vault, and Nomad are part of our enterprise offering, which we bring it to the market. These are the some local logos, apart from the 1700 plus global enterprise customers or 300 out of your global 2000. These are some of the logos we have acquired in Southeast Asia over the last, I would say, 16 to 18 months of our presence in Singapore. Some of the notable logos can be GovTech, where Terraform is a blueprint for cloud automation, wherein Standard Chartered, we work with their retail, with their digital banks, wherein Grab's complete infrastructure is automated using Terraform. All their secrets are stored using Vault, and all their service mesh is managed by HashiCorp Console. We work with Singtel, we work with Petronas. You probably, you can see most of all the banks in the region are working with us. And not only the traditional or digital banks, we are also very strong into cryptocurrency or all the blockchain companies like Bullish, Crypto, VLab across the region. Apart from just the product logos and as a partner, when you work with HashiCorp, it's not only about us or the cloud. What HashiCorp enables you to leverage your existing technical partnership or other product partnership you have in the market. HashiCorp currently has around 12 to 1300 what we call as providers are able to connect to these companies, and these providers are not only supported by HashiCorp, but they're also supported by these product vendors. So you talk about Palo Alto Network, or you talk about ServiceNow or Snowflake, we have adopters or you call providers connecting to their infrastructure, which also enables basically for our partners to maximize their investments they have done into these technologies. Now, what HashiCorp does and why it is relevant into all the enterprise customers. If you look at currently the whole cloud landscape, most of the banks or most of the even government ministries or enterprises have a typical landscape of, they have their traditional data centers. Some of them move to a private cloud, say last 4 or 5 years, they started setting up their private cloud. And then they have adopted maybe AWS or maybe Azure or maybe a GCP as their primary cloud, public cloud. And some of the banks have even gone to a multi-cloud environment wherein they not only have their traditional data center where they keep their, say, a core banking data, which is not currently, they can't keep it on the cloud. Plus, there are some apps they're running onto the private cloud, but at the same time, they have started they're moving their customer engagements or customer engagement apps, digital apps to the public cloud. Now, with this digital transformation which banks or enterprises are taking, you now have multiple apps doing your infrastructure provisioning. So probably customer might be using VMware or VRA for their on-premise cloud infrastructure or on private cloud automation. But at the same time, they might have CloudFormation from AWS or Resource Manager from Azure. On a security front, as you know, all these clouds or even on-premise technology, they have their own standards, they have their own policies. On networking, same. Most of them believe either a hardware networking or they believe on their proprietary network. Now, imagine your customers when they are setting up a DevOps practice and they have a hybrid cloud or multi-cloud environment, virtually not even your own technical teams, but imagine on the customer side as well, they have to learn multiple technology and keep up with those technology with ever-changing environments. Now, suppose you are a DevSecOps lead for a bank, or you are say a CISO in a bank, and now you have a set of policies you have written them in in English. They are not technical specs. Now, the DevSecOps team actually has to transform those security guidelines or automation guidelines into individual technologies. And that is where HashiCorp comes into picture, where we give you a single control point to manage this layer of infrastructure. First is Terraform, which basically does infrastructure as a code. No matter whether it's your VMware private cloud or it's AWS or Azure or even Ali Cloud or even your Tencent cloud, we have what we call as a supported both ways providers for those clouds. So you can actually automate a single state file. Today, if you're automating it onto the you're provisioning your infrastructure on AWS or Azure, you can simply redirect that code to a different cloud if your direction of going to a cloud changes or you decided to have another cloud into your infrastructure. Similarly, people can provision firewalls. People can basically provision any infrastructure which is a part of your basically infrastructure plan. Now, security is a different dimension for HashiCorp. We go by identity. We don't go by your static or a dynamic IP. As you know, there are no static IPs in cloud. And at the same time, when I'm managing identity or when I'm managing secrets for application in any enterprise, I can't expect that app to be just on one cloud or one infrastructure player. It can be a case where your customer engagement app is running on Azure, but your core machine or say core AI ML part of it might be on AWS, and your database, since it has got a sensitive data about your customer, it might be running on your premise infrastructure. Now, how do you bring all these aspects together and manage these secrets or manage these identities together? And we make that happen using one single app called Vault. Networking, same issues. There are networking mechanisms with multiple clouds. We give you a very simple service registry or network automation module leveraging the capabilities of service registry or service mesh console. And then Nomad, which is our application deployment platform, where we basically, whether it's your fully containerized environment or it's a traditional app and you want to move them to a digital environment, we help you doing that. We don't force application to be containerized or refactory. We can actually use them and orchestrate them into the cloud. And this gives you a very simple unified interfaces to simplify your journey to the cloud. We'll deep dive into two products today. One is Terraform and one is Vault. So basically what Terraform enables customers and also the partners, most of the partners who are dealing into the cloud are primarily doing either their cloud management platform or they're building landing zones or they are building their CI/CD pipelines for their customers. And this is exactly what Terraform is a base of most of those. Terraform basically helps you adopt any cloud infrastructure or service safely, efficiently, and timely. First use case is infrastructure as a code. Terraform can be used as infrastructure as a code mechanism, not only to just provision, but at the same time put guardrails. You can actually define what a DevOps engineer can do, what they can do, but with a warning, or they can't suppose do a thing at all without any auditing or without any compliance case being approved. Terraform helps you to maintain the compliance and as well as management. So when I'm talking about Terraform, it's not only day 0 or day 1. Terraform can also do your management on the day 2. We have customers in the region who are actually doing Cloudflare management, which is a day 2 leveraging Terraform because they want the maker checker functionalities when anybody is doing changes into their firewalls and making sure that whatever change is going in production is actually somebody is checking it, and the person who is checking or person who is approving it has a proper authority to do so. And that is how we can put those guardrails in place. Now, there are customers who are using us for self-service infrastructure. Imagine most of the enterprises or banks leverage something like, say, ServiceNow. your DevOps team or your cloud engineering team or SRE team might raise a case saying, I need a X number of um, compute power with some capabilities with, say, SQL database of a large size on a certain cloud. Now you have those things available as a catalog in ServiceNow. What Terraform does that when the ticket is raised and it goes through your finance or your infrastructure head approval, once it is approved, ServiceNow can actually trigger Terraform state file to implement that change directly without actual teams getting into huddle deciding when the change can be done, and it takes significant amount of time when you are actually waiting for your cloud team, your network team, or your database team to get onto a same line, find out a weekend when they can implement that change and implement that. Terraform takes away of all the pain of coordinating with those teams and making sure that that change is implemented seamlessly the moment you have a approved ticket from ServiceNow. And this is out of the box functionality available with ServiceNow, and Terraform Enterprise works seamlessly with ServiceNow. Now, when you're working with your customers, we do have two versions of Terraform available. One is Terraform Enterprise, which is installed either on premise or on cloud, depending upon customers' environment as well as preference. Second option is completely managed HashiCorp Cloud Platform, Terraform Cloud. Now, Terraform Cloud gives you flexibility to grow your licenses as and when there are more initiatives, or cut down the licenses as and when you're going through a major migration cycle or major transformation project. It's completely managed environment wherein partners and customers can focus on the business side of the cloud engineering, where they can write state files, they can connect Terraform Cloud to their existing GitLab or Jenkins or Jira, and make their CI/CD pipeline work or implement CI/CD pipeline. These are some of the bundles readily available for customers to use. Partners can actually use a Westcon CPPO if the customer is on AWS Marketplace, or at the same time, customers can resell that and Westcon can quote them these bundles easily. Some of the target personas for infrastructure automation can be your cloud champions, who can be your operations manager or multi-domain manager, your technical decision makers. The teams which you should target are the cloud operation teams, or you can call the DevSecOps teams or the SRE teams, are the economic buyer and the teams who actually use Terraform on day-to-day basis. And most of these teams start with Terraform open source to when when the volume is low, they don't have any applications going in production. But the moment any of your enterprise customers are thinking and going to the cloud, you should think about Terraform Enterprise. Now, next one is Vault, which is our secrets management and data encryption software. It basically secures, stores, and tightly controls tokens, passwords, certificates, encryption keys, and it not only works seamlessly with digital or the cloud apps, but at the same time, it works seamlessly with your traditional or monolithic apps. It has got API integrations. It has got ready-made providers for most of the clouds and apps. Two use cases where Vault works pretty well is secrets management, where you have stored all the secrets or distribute dynamic secrets as tokens, passwords, certificates, or encryption key. Now, most of the DevSecOps team in earlier days used to store their user ID passwords or keys into their state files and put them into a GitLab and leverage them. This has been an issue with most of the cloud applications, where the secret sprawls can actually go dig your code on GitLab and find out what user ID passwords been stored into those init or the state files. Vaults take away that capability of storing passwords and acts as a single point of your authentication engine, wherein it also gives you facility when applications are connecting to a sensitive databases. It doesn't give them static user ID password. It actually generates dynamic user ID password every time the application is trying to connect. You can even have how long the password will stay active, how long the password can be changed. All these policies can be enforced easily using Vault. Most of the banks here in the regions are already leveraging Vault capability. Now, how do we differ from the standard vault capabilities or key management capabilities in AWS or Azure or any of the cloud provide? Uh, Most of these solutions are good, the cloud native solutions, when you are just sticking to the one cloud, or you are not going across to another cloud for authentication or storing your secrets. Vault gives you that mechanism where whether you are on a hybrid or on premise, on cloud, you can still manage your secrets, irrespective what cloud and what applications you are running. And at the same time, right from db2 to mongodb to or you're even connecting to Snowflake, Vault has the ability to connect to any of these data stores or data lakes to manage your secrets. Now, not only we manage secrets, we do data encryption on at rest as well as in transit data. And we follow almost all the industry standards when we are talking about data encryption. One of the leading banks in Singapore is actually using Vault as encryption as a service across the enterprise. So every single data field in the bank, which is identified as a sensitive data, gets encrypted the moment any applications is trying to inject, edit, or accessing the data, which effectively means that it has capability to scale horizontally, but as well as vertically in terms of number of apps, because of the way it can easily managed as well as easily maintained within the application. It supports multi-region data centers. It supports high availability, and basically there are digital banks in Singapore which are leveraging this as univocally to manage their secrets. One of the best customer, I would say, would be Grab, who is managing all their secrets for your Grab super app across the region. These are some bundles we have launched with Westcon in the region, which starts at low as $25,000 and goes upward based on the customer's requirement and capabilities. Again, the buyers, economic buyers, or the champions you will have, or the SecOps or DevSecOps people. Certainly, CISO of any organization will be a key buyer into this application as well as bundles. The sales cycle for Vault generally goes across your DevOps team as well as security teams, because both are the key buyers of this product, considering the apps will have to integrate with Vault. At the same time, security policies will come from your CISO. All these again bundles are available as a part of CPPO offer from AWS or from Westcon, or Westcon can basically quote these whenever you have a requirement. Now, just to give you a perspective how widely adopted our products are, Terraform and Vault are currently the open source version itself gets downloaded more than 100 million times annually. There are more than 12,000 contributors and 36,000 user group members, and we have a presence in almost 52 countries. As a next step or call to action, I would like to say, if you have any customer who's keen on infrastructure as a code, or they are going on a multi-cloud journey, or wants to store their secrets for their apps for the cloud, we are happy to help, work with you. You pick a customer or a prospect, and we will work together with you to make that happen closely with you. We have teams here in Singapore. Even our customer success team works with partners very closely, making sure every single customer, does not matter what the size is successful in their implementation. And our partners get all access to all the resources to make them successful in their digital transformation journey with their customers. Thank you. If you have any questions, please reach out to the Westcon team. Westcon team actually has the capabilities to not only sell, but do pre-sales as well as doing POC in most of the Southeast Asian countries, as well as of course in Singapore. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh, for the insightful presentation. All right, so I would like to thank all the speakers from F5, Splunk, Palo Alto, HashiCorp, and Marantis for your presentations during this sales stream. So there is still time to fill in the survey form in order to have 3 lucky winners to win US dollars 250 of shopping vouchers. Right. So without further ado, we can go back to the auditorium, and the next presentation will be Blue Sky and Cloud Checker by Ong Wee Hong.